let's go to the London affair. Chelsea hosting Spurs, and for me, I heard Josiah saying in the show last week that he doesn't expect it to be an entertaining match, and actually it turned out to be that a lullaby match. Okay, what do you think was the approach by the managers? Because for me, it's not what I was expecting. I was expecting goals. I was actually expecting, even if it's not, even if it's going to end in a draw, but a draw with goals. But it turned out to be such a boring affair. Josiah, what do you have to say about these two? Because from the look of things, currently they are the real title contenders.
Okay, so the basis of my argument last week was solely based on a couple of issues. Number one was my experience, the experience that I saw when Man City played Liverpool. Was it the first time, the first half of the season, where everyone expected, fireworks, but they had nothing to lose at that point. And it's the same thing that Spurs and Chelsea, they are better off having a point, retaining, their squad with no injuries, not getting tired, knowing that I'll still be at somewhere at the top, and this is not the right time to, rush into it. Unlike the second half of the season where every single point matters, because at the end of the day, I want to, win the title and all that. Right now, they were conservative. On top of that, I saw a Chelsea that plays against Sevilla in the Champions League, played against Manchester United in the Premier League and got a 0-0. Especially when it's playing a big club, they are a bit conservative when it comes to it, because they know that to some extent, it's Zuma at the back. Let's be honest, it's Thiago. He doesn't have that speed at the back. You have a good goalkeeper, but when you expose him, you're gonna, Kane is gonna score. So at the end of the day, there's some aspect of them being a bit defensive, which as a home team, you should expect. Then look at the other side. It's Mourinho. Yeah. It's Mourinho, and even when he was playing City, he had 2 shots on target and 2 goals. Yeah. So Mourinho was not going to come all out for that game. So I wasn't surprised. He didn't want to lose again at Stamford Bridge. You get the last time he won there was with Inter. With Manchester United, he never won a game at Stamford Bridge. I remember one time he got a 4-0 clobbering, and I was so, tired during that game. So at the end of the day, he wanted to get at least one against Lampard or against Chelsea. And if it meant that he won't lose, at least get a draw and look, forward to the next game, then it was going to happen. So for me, I wasn't surprised. I did not expect an exciting game. I knew that when these two teams decide that they're going to sit back, they were going to sit back. I saw some mistakes from some of the players, and which would have led to goals. But in the back of their minds, they were even them, they looked like they were okay with a draw. It's like it's a conversation that they had. At least I was able to see Chilwell having a post-match interview where he was saying, he mentioned clean sheet 4 times in that interview. Every single question he was asked was ended with, and we are happy with a clean sheet. At the end of the day, we had a clean sheet. And that clean sheet thing being mentioned so many times can tell you the mindset some of these guys came with. And then when I looked at Mourinho, talking about that, I'm a pony, we are a pony as Spurs, we are not a horse. And then he says, look at the difference between the two statements. I'm a pony, I'm not a horse, I'm not fighting for the title. Then he says, the players are so disappointed, meaning you wanted to win that match. They wanted to win this match so that they go top of the table and prove a point. So there are two sides of this thing that you can tell. I really can't trust what Mourinho is saying, because I saw Mourinho I know him very well. So I know what to expect when this guy says what he says. And when he's on top there, he says some things that, I'm not really surprised. So for me, I know he can go for a draw, especially against big clubs away from home, and that's what he did. And kudos to him. He, he's top of the table anyway, and now he's looking forward to the next game. So for me, it was going to be a very conservative game, and I wasn't really shocked. So for me, that was what I picked from it, and it wasn't shocking. I only, my caveat last time was, if Giroud plays, they would probably get a goal, and I still stand by that. If Giroud started that game with all the crosses that came during the first half, um, he probably would have nicked a goal, because that guy knows how to poach goals, in that whole pressure. He has that experience. But the time I saw Abraham, I knew that, they were just gonna be, as usual. So for me, I wasn't really surprised.
SP, what did you have to say about that game? For me, I was looking at the main match after watching your curtain raiser match. what did you have
well,
to say about the match?
Steve, the 0-0 didn't shock me at all. If anything, what I saw was a tactical masterclass from Mourinho, and he almost snatched it at the end, and you could see how pissed he was at Giovanni Lo Celso for wasting that chance. Because honestly, that was given to him on a plate. He should have scored. Of course, Giroud should have scored on the other side as well, um, from the other Spurs mistake. But you think about it, and for me, if you looked at the tactics in that game, you look at Musa Sissoko and you expect him to be playing in the midfield. But as the game progresses, you discover when they're off the ball, he was actually part of a back three. He was actually much more behind the ball than Serge Aurier, for example, who was much more advanced than him. So on paper, Mourinho was playing with a back four, but on the ground, he actually had Sissoko filling in. And I think Chelsea missed a plot with being able to exploit Musa Sissoko and just how Sissoko was playing very erratically in the defense. However, that said, I think Mourinho would have been happy. He'd have looked at the results over the weekend and just thought, okay, well, a draw keeps me top of the table, so it suits me right. And like Josiah is saying, Mourinho has been at this for a while. He knows the right things to say at the right time. He's not had a result at the bridge. He's not had a result against Lampard. He would have loved to beat Lampard, I'm sure, but he knows that the time will come when he will need to actually beat Lampard. And so I, I I I wasn't surprised by the 0-0. If anything, I was just shocked that Lampard didn't react as quickly as I expected to bring on the likes of Giroud and Christian Pulisic, because I think Spurs were there to be exploited. The young boy who they signed from Swansea, um, had a good game, but he still made a few errors. And you put someone like an experienced Giroud, to disrupt that boy, and you would have had yourself a good result. So, guys, people have said that it was a boring 0-0. I don't think it was boring. I think I saw a lot of tactics. I saw a lot of Spurs players now actually adapting to the Mourinho way of football. I mean, look at how deep Harry Kane is having to fall back. Look at how Son is having to play. They are now buying into the philosophy of Jose Mourinho, the man. And for me, things can only get better for them, because he will tell them, okay, we've played expansive football. What has that gotten us? No trophies in how many years? Let's try my more and well, antagonistic approach and see where it takes us. It's taking us top of the league. I mean, you're going into a London derby this coming weekend against an Arsenal side who, well, we'll talk about them if at all when we are talking about relegation contenders, but an Arsenal side who are, uh, you know, at their worst possible point, and you're top of the league beat Arsenal and you know open up that gap. So I think if I was a Spurs fan or wherever the Spurs fans are right now, they're enjoying every moment of this time.